Yeah, so very warm welcome to everybody, especially a warm welcome to those of you who are new and here for the first time. So I hope you can stay tuned for as many sessions as possible. I know next week Anang Manjari Mataji has a nice treat organized for all of us. So I think some senior devotees are going to be speaking early next week, such as His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. So that would be very nice, Krishna willing. And also, yeah, just want to thank Amrish Prabhuji and Anang Manjari Mataji for organizing these programs, these evening Krishna Katha programs. So they're engaging us in wonderful service, transcendental service of hearing and chanting. So that's bringing us all closer and closer to Lord Krishna. So thank you for that, Prabhuji and Mataji. Thank you. So yesterday, Prabhuji nicely explained about how Mother Earth, Bhumi, was overburdened by all the demons and so she approached Lord Brahma for help, and then Lord Brahma, hearing her plight, he felt very much aggrieved, and then with the other demigods, including Lord Shiva, he approached Lord Vishnu for help. So Lord Vishnu then told Lord Brahma not to worry and that he would be appearing to remove the burden of the earth. We then heard how Kansa tried to kill his sister Devaki after the voice from the sky proclaimed that, hey Kamsa, the eighth child of your sister and brother-in-law Vasudeva is going to kill you. However, Vasudeva manages to pacify Kamsa, promising that he'll personally bring his eighth child to him. And then we heard how Narad Muni, to accelerate the appearance of Lord Krishna, tells Kamsa that, all the demigods have already appeared, and that in Vrindavan, personalities like Nanda Maharaj and all the other cowherd men and their wives, and on the other side Vasudeva and his father Surasen and all of his relatives and the family of Vrishni of the Yanu dynasty, along with all the friends and well-wishers, were actually demigods. So that actually made Kamsa afraid, and then he imprisons Devaki and Vasudeva. So that's where we ended yesterday, the first chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, or the Krishna Book. So we continue today, and this is the second chapter, and it's titled Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. So in this chapter, it starts by explaining how Kansa, he basically built a great alliance. He built a great alliance with the other demons like Pralambasura, Bakasura, Chanu, Trinavat, Agasura, Mustika, etc., etc. And also his father-in-law, who was a great demon, Jarasandh, named Jarasandh. So in this way, Kansa became very powerful. So then after that, Kamsa starts behaving very inimical towards the Yadu dynasty and the dynasty in which Lord Krishna is to appear. He starts oppressing the members of the Yadu dynasty, and basically being harassed by Kamsa. They all leave, basically, all the members of the Yadu dynasty, they leave their homes and take shelter in other states, such as the Paschalas, Kaikaya, Salva, Vidarbha, Nisada, Vedeha, and Kosala, etc. So in this way, Kamsa was able to break the solidarity of the Yadu, Bhoja, and Andaka dynasties. And the reason was simple, because they were all scattered everywhere. They were scattered all over the place and they weren't together. So that he was able to sort of break them, their solidarity and strength by doing that. So then as time went on, Kamsa killed the 6 sons of Devaki, one after another. And the question is that who are these 6 sons? Who were they? And it's a long story, but in short, 2 births prior, they were the 6 sons of Marichi, and they were actually cursed by Brahmana, and therefore they had to take birth as the grandsons of Hiranyakashipu. So these grandsons of Hiranyakashipu underwent austerities to please Lord Brahma, and this actually upset Hiranyakashipu, and so he cursed them that your father, which was Kalnemi, will take birth as Kamsa and kill you, and hence they were born as the 6 sons of Devaki. So it's a short condensed story. If you want to know more, let me know and I can send you the full story as well. It's actually mentioned in the Harivamsa and the Vishnu Parva. So if you like a copy, let me know. I can send it to you. So when Devaki became pregnant for the 7th time, then Lord Ananta and Balaram entered into her womb. And Srila Prabhupada mentions about Lord Balaram as follows. He says that in the Upanishads, it is stated, Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhayaha. The purport is that one cannot attain the supreme platform of self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balaram. Bala does not mean physical strength. No one can attain spiritual perfection by physical strength. One must have this spiritual strength, which is infused by Balaram or Sankarshan. Ananta or Shesha is the source of the power which sustains all the planets in their planetary positions. Materially, the sustaining power is known as the law of gravitation, but actually it is a display of the potency of Sankarshan. Balaram or Sankarshan is the source of spiritual power or the original spiritual master. Therefore, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is also the incarnation of Balaram, is the original spiritual master, and the spiritual master is the representative of Balaram, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who supplies spiritual strength. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is confirmed that the spiritual master is the manifestation of the mercy of Krishna. Jai. So Prabhupada mentions here that one cannot attain the spiritual platform for self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balaram. So the question may be raised that how do we get the mercy of Lord Balaram? And it's simple, actually. It is by pleasing the spiritual master, because the spiritual master is also the representative of Balaram. So, and then also, how can we please our spiritual master? Well, we discussed that in length during the Vyas Puja seminar, where we mentioned that by sincerely following the instructions of the spiritual master, one can please him, and that is the secret to spiritual success. So after that, Lord Krishna, he requests Yogamaya, his internal potency, to appear and transfer Ananta, or the 7th child of Devaki, into the womb of Rohini. The Lord thus informed Yogamaya that under the imprisonment of Kamsa, Devaki, and Vasudev, and at the present moment, my planetary expansion, Sesha, is within the womb of Devaki. You can arrange the transfer of Sesha from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. After this arrangement, I am personally going to appear in the womb of Devaki with my full potencies. Then I shall appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudev, and you shall appear as the daughter of Nanda and Yashoda in Vrindavan. So Lord Krishna, he says that, he continues that since you will appear as my contemporary sister, and since you will quickly satisfy desires for sense gratification, people within the world will worship you with all kinds of valuable presentations, flowers, offerings, sacrifice, etc. People are after, people who are after materialistic perfection will worship you under the different forms of your expansions, which will be named as Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijay, Vaishnavi, etc. So Lord Krishna is explaining here, and actually Srila Prabhupada also mentions in regards to Yogamaya, he explains here that Krishna and Yogamaya appear as brother and sister, the supreme powerful and the supreme power. Although there is no clear distinction between the powerful and the power, power is always subordinate to the powerful. So basically, you get electricity, which is power, and that comes from the powerhouse. So which is more powerful, the powerhouse or the power or the electricity? Obviously the powerhouse, because that's where the electricity is generated. So in the same way, this Yogamaya is the potency, the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And therefore all the power of Durga Devi, etc., all the Matas, all the Matajis, that comes from Lord Krishna. So it is mentioned that those who are materialistic are worshippers of the power, but those who are transcendentalists are worship of the powerful, or Krishna. Okay, so we'll continue. Then Lord Krishna, who is always ready to protect his unalloyed devotees, entered within the mind of Vasudeva as the Lord of the whole creation with full inconceivable potencies. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his inconceivable potency, can appear in any way. It is not necessary for him to appear in an ordinary way by seminal injection within the womb of a woman. So this is explaining how the Lord's birth is not a material birth. He is not an ordinary person, is a transcendental person. It is not that he was born through the normal way that a normal human being is born. So thus the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full potencies was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Because the Lord was present in her heart, Devaki appeared effulgent. Upon seeing this effulgence, Kamsa was full of anxiety, but he could not harm Devaki because of their family relationship. Thus, he began indirectly thinking of Krishna and became fully Krishna conscious. Meanwhile, because of the Lord's presence within the womb of Devaki, all the demigods came to offer the Lord their prayers. So here, when Kamsa becomes fully Krishna conscious, he's not thinking of Krishna in a favorable way. He's always thinking of Krishna all the time. He's fully Krishna conscious, but not in a favorable way. So he's always thinking as an enemy. And Prabhupada mentions that that is not the correct way to think of the Lord. Even though the Lord accepts that and he will give, promotion to Kamsa when he's killed, it is not the favorable way that a devotee should be thinking. That a devotee actually thinks of the Lord out of love and not out of hate or enviousness. So after that, the demigods, they because of the Lord's presence within the womb of Devaki, all the demigods came to offer the Lord their prayers. So now we will just go to the prayers. I have selected a few. There's quite a few, but I have selected some. And if we have time, we can go through them. So Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narad, and followed by many other demigods, invisibly appeared in the house of Kamsa. They began to pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in selected verses, which are very pleasing to the devotees and which award fulfillment of their desires. So they pray, "Our dear Lord," the demigods prayed, "it is very difficult to understand your eternal form or personality. People in general are unable to understand your actual form. Therefore, you are personally descending to exhibit your original eternal form. Somehow people can understand the different incarnations of your lordship, but they are puzzled to understand the eternal form of Krishna with two hands, moving among human beings exactly like one of them. The eternal form of your lordship gives ever increasing transcendental pleasure to the devotees, but for the non-devotees, this form is very dangerous." So this two-handed form of Krishna is very dangerous to the non-devotees because he kills them, the demons. He is always killing them. Whereas Lord Chaitanya, when he appears as Lord Chaitanya, he doesn't kill them, but he kills their materialistic tendencies through the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So they continue. "Our dear Lord," the demigods continued, "you have appeared in your original unalloyed form, the eternal form of goodness for the welfare of all living entities within the material world. Taking advantage of your appearance, all of them can now easily understand the nature and form of the personality of Godhead. People who belong to the four divisions of the social order, the brahmacharis, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasis, can all take advantage of your appearance. Dear Lord, if you did not appear in your eternal transcendental form, full of bliss and knowledge, a form which can eradicate all kinds of speculative ignorance about your position, then all people would simply speculate about you according to their respective modes of material nature. So they're praying here that the Lord, if you did not appear in your transcendental form, then people would just speculate of who you are, you know, according to their mentality, according to their situation and the modes that they're in. So Srila Prabhupada gives an example here. He says, the appearance of Krishna is the answer to all imaginative iconography of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone imagines the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to his mode of material nature. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is the oldest person. Therefore, a section of religionists imagine that God must be very old, and therefore they depict the form of the Lord like a very old man. But in the same Brahma Samhita, that is contradicted. Although he is the oldest of all living entities, he has his eternal form as a fresh youth. The exact words used in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam are Vijasanam Ajsanam Bhida Pamajanam. So it is mentioning that the Lord is the oldest, but he's also the youth. He's also the youngest because he's also youthful looking, very youthful looking. So the demigods continue to pray, our dear Lord, the way of understanding is not to study your absolute nature, form, and activities by mental speculation. One must engage himself in devotional service, then one can understand your absolute nature and your transcendental form, name, and qualities. Actually, only a person who has a little taste for the service of your lotus feet can understand your transcendental nature or form and qualities. Others may go on speculating for millions of years, but it is not possible for them to understand even a single part of your actual position. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna cannot be understood by the non-devotees because there is a curtain of Yoga Maya which covers Krishna's actual features. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya, the Lord says, I am not exposed to anyone and everyone. Oh Lord, the impersonalists and non-devotees cannot understand that your name is identical with your form. The pure devotees who are always absorbed in thought of the transcendental lotus feet of Krishna and who are always engaged in devotional service and full Krishna consciousness are never to be considered to be in the material world. Srila Rupa Goswami has explained that those who are always engaged in Krishna consciousness with body, mind, and activities are to be considered liberated even within the body, even within this body. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Those who are engaged in the devotional service of the Lord have already transcended the material position. Krishna appears in order to give a chance to both the devotees and the non-devotees for realization of the ultimate goal of life. The devotees get the direct chance to see him and worship him. Those who are not on that platform get a chance to become acquainted with his activities and thus become elevated to the same position. So our dear Lord, the demigods continued, you are appeasing as the best, you are appearing as the best of the Yadu dynasty, and we are offering our respectful, humble obeisances onto your lotus feet. Before this appearance, you also appeared as the fish incarnation, as the horse incarnation, as the tortoise incarnation, as the half-man, half-lion incarnation, as the boar incarnation, as the swan incarnation, as King Ramachandra, as Pusharam, and many other incarnations. You appeared just to protect the devotees, and we request you in your present appearance as the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself to give us similar protection all over the three worlds and remove all obstacles for the peaceful execution of our lives. After thus worshipping the transcendental form of the Lord, all the demigods with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva departed for their heavenly abodes. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So are there any questions?
Yeah, Jitendra Prabhu has raised his hand. Jitendra
Yes,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I got a very short question because the lecture I heard yesterday from continuation of that one. Is there any connection between Ravan and Kangsha?
Ravan and Kansha. No, I don't think so, is there, Prabhu? No, I don't think.
So he was not in previous birth. Ravan was not Kangsha or anything like that.
No, no, no.
No. Okay. Then that's fine, Prabhuji. I was little bit confused about that one. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. Kirtiwanta Prabhu, is it?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
I have two questions, but I'll just ask one for now. It said, so Lord Krishna was the 8th child, and the 7th child was Anantashesh. So what happened? I mean, Kamsa was going to kill every single child. So what happened to the 7th child? I mean, he obviously didn't kill the 7th child. So what happened? I mean, he would have
No,
realized.
it's transferred. Did you? That was Anantashesh, and that was
Yeah.
transferred to Rohini's womb.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like Kamsa knew that his sister was pregnant with the 7th child, right? He would have
Yes.
known. So did he not wonder what happened with the 7th child? Because he was killing every single one as soon as they born. So he would have wondered where the 7th child went.
So, Kirtiwanta Prabhuji, what happened was, so Balaram, like the Anantashesh, appeared as in the womb of Devaki first, and then on the instruction of the Supreme Lord Krishna, Yogamaya moved that from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb, and everyone thought that the Devaki has had miscarriage.
Yes, that's right.
So Kamsa was not actually killing the child in the womb. When the child is born, at that time he was killing.
Yeah.
So he thought that I have killed 6, and the 7th one has already got killed in the miscarriage, and then he was waiting for the 8th one. And that is how there was no doubt that he had that, oh, what happened to the 7th one? Because everyone thought that the child was in the womb, but now it has been gone. So it has been miscarriage.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you, Prabhu.
Okay, Sudharma Prabhu or Sudharma Mataji, who has that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thanks for the beautiful lecture. Thanks to
Thank you,
hear about the
Mataji.
praise of demigods. Prabhuji, my question is regarding Yogamaya. So she is actually who was born for Yashoda Mai, and she when Kamsa is trying to kill Krishna, like she was replaced and she vanishes, and she tells like Krishna is born. So what about Subhadra Mai? So it's a bit of confusion, like because Yogamaya, Subhadra Mai is also called as Yogamaya, right?
Yes, right.
So
Yes.
is she like who? So, but she is not this child which was born to Yashoda Mai, right?
No, but the Prabhu, the Jagannath, Amrish Prabhu can explain, because the
Yeah.
Jagannath Yatra story, like Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra story, Prabhu explained that last time, which it may be able to clarify more on.
So Yogamaya, actually, as I was mentioning earlier, Yogamaya actually appears multiple times in this pastime in different forms. And the Yogamaya who appeared as the daughter of Yashoda and who vanishes in that pastime, that is, she's same Yogamaya, but she is different and this is different. Appearing again and again.
Right. Okay.
This is why we have these classes, to learn more and more.
Santosh Prabhu, you have some question, or your question
Yes,
was
Prabhu.
answered?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, my question is the 7th child, which you mentioned is Anantaseshu, born as Balaram, right? But isn't Balaram incarnation of Lord Vishnu?
Yes. Yeah, Nrtya Gopal Prabhu.
Yeah, so he's an expansion. He's an expansion of Lord Krishna, actually. So he's appeared as Lord. So actually, there's no difference. But actually, there's only 3 differences between Balaram and Lord Krishna, and those differences are the complexion, etc. But yes, to answer your question, it is Balaram that has appeared there.
Anyone else has any other questions or comments? No.
Thank you so much.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Okay, Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Nrtya Gopal Prabhu ki.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
God Bhakta Vrinda ki. Jai.
Yeah.
Jai.